I never used to lock my door. Not because I was brave. Not because I felt safe. I just never thought anything would actually happen. Our neighborhood was quiet, almost painfully normal. The kind of place where dogs barked at the same hour every night and porch lights flickered on like clockwork. My mom used to remind me, always lock the door before bed. I'd answer, yeah, and forget 5 minutes later. The night everything started felt ordinary. Rain tapped lightly against my bedroom window, and the wind dragged tree branches across the roof with a slow scratching sound. I was alone that weekend. My mom had left for a night shift at the hospital, and I had the house to myself until morning. At 11:47 p.m., I heard the front door creak. Not open, just creak, like someone gently testing the handle. I froze. At first, I told myself it was the wind. Old houses make noises. Wood shifts. Metal contracts. That's normal. But then I heard it again. A slow, careful movement of the handle. Someone was trying to open it. My heart started pounding so loud I could barely hear anything else. I grabbed my phone and turned off the lights in my room. The house became silent except for the rain. The handle stopped moving. For a full minute, nothing happened. Then, a soft knock. Not aggressive. Not desperate. Just 3 calm, spaced-out taps. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. No one knew I was home alone. No one should be knocking this late. I opened the camera app on my phone and slowly walked into the hallway. Each step felt like it echoed through the entire house. The floorboards groaned beneath my feet, betraying me. When I reached the living room, I saw it immediately. The front door was slightly open. Just a few inches. I was sure I had closed it earlier. I was sure. Cold air slipped inside, carrying the smell of wet pavement and something else. Something metallic and unfamiliar. I forced myself to move forward and push the door shut. My hand shook as I turned the lock. Click. The sound felt louder than it should have. That's when I noticed something scratched into the paint on the inside of the door. 3 thin lines. Fresh. As if someone had dragged something sharp across it. I stepped back slowly. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. A message. I don't like locked doors. My blood turned to ice. I stared at the front door, and the handle moved again. But this time, it didn't stop. The handle didn't stop moving. It twisted down slowly, then snapped back up. Again, and again. Like whoever was outside wasn't in a hurry. Like they were just testing me. I stepped back from the door, my breathing shallow and shaky. The lock was engaged. I was sure of it. I had heard the click. The handle jerked harder. Then suddenly, it stopped. Silence swallowed the house. No rain. No wind. No movement. Just quiet. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I know you're inside. My fingers felt numb as I typed. Who is this? The reply came instantly. Why did you lock me out? My stomach dropped. Lock you out? I had never seen this number before. No name. No profile picture. Just blank emptiness on the screen. Then another message appeared. I was already in. Every light in the house flickered. Just once. Then they went back to normal. I slowly turned my head toward the hallway. The darkness there felt thicker somehow. Heavier. Like something was standing inside it. Watching. I swallowed hard and forced myself to move. I checked the kitchen first. Empty. Windows locked. Back door secure. I checked the bathroom. Nothing. Then I reached the staircase leading upstairs. Halfway up, I heard it. A soft sound. From my bedroom. A slow dragging noise. Like something being pulled across the floor. My bedroom was at the end of the hallway upstairs. I had left the lights off. I knew I had. But now, a faint glow spilled from beneath the door. A cold white light. My heart slammed against my ribs. No one else was home. I climbed the rest of the stairs. Each step felt like it took an hour. The dragging sound stopped. Silence again. I reached my bedroom door and stared at the light underneath. My hand hovered over the handle. Another buzz from my phone. I liked it better when you didn't lock it. I didn't open the door. Instead, I slowly stepped back, because I realized something. The front door had stopped moving, which meant whatever was trying to get in wasn't outside anymore. It was already inside, and it was in my room. The light under the door suddenly went out. Complete darkness. Then, from behind the door, 3 slow knocks. The 3 knocks weren't loud. They were soft, patient, like whoever, or whatever, was inside my room had all the time in the world. I couldn't move. My legs felt locked in place, just like the door downstairs. My phone trembled in my hand as another message appeared. Unknown number. Open it. My throat felt dry. I typed back without thinking. Who are you? For a moment, nothing happened. Then my phone rang. The same unknown number. I didn't want to answer, but the ringing felt worse than the silence. So I pressed accept. I didn't say anything. At first, there was only static. Soft. Low. Like distant radio interference. Then I heard breathing. Slow. Measured. Right against the microphone. I pulled the phone away from my ear, but I could still hear it faintly through the speaker. And then, it whispered my name. Clear. Perfect. Exactly how my mom says it. I dropped the phone. It hit the wooden floor with a sharp crack, but the call didn't end. The breathing continued. From the phone. And from behind the door. 2 separate sounds. Perfectly synchronized. My chest tightened. Whatever was inside my room was also on the phone. The handle of my bedroom door slowly began to turn. I never locked my bedroom door. I never needed to. But now I wished I had. The handle pushed down. The door creaked open just a few inches. Darkness spilled out into the hallway like liquid shadow. I couldn't see inside. No movement. No shape. Just blackness. Then something slid across the floor inside my room. A long scraping sound. Closer to the doorway. I stepped back until my shoulders hit the wall behind me. My phone screen lit up on the floor. The call had ended. A new message appeared. Why are you afraid? The bedroom door opened wider. Slowly. Deliberately. I could see my bed now. My desk. My chair. Everything looked normal. Empty. But the air felt wrong. Cold. Thick. Like the room was breathing. And then I saw it. On my wall. Above my bed. Written in something dark. 3 words. Don't lock me. The letters looked wet. Fresh. And they were written from the inside. The bedroom light suddenly flicked on by itself. Blinding white. I screamed and covered my eyes. When I looked again, the writing was gone. The room was normal. Silent. Empty. My phone buzzed one more time. I'm closer now. And downstairs, I heard the front door unlock. By itself. The sound of the front door unlocking echoed through the house. A clean, metallic click, followed by the slow creak of hinges. I didn't move. I couldn't. My bedroom door was still open behind me. The hallway light buzzed faintly overhead, flickering like it was struggling to stay alive. Then I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Heavy. Entering the house. Not running. Not sneaking. Just walking in like it belonged there. Step. 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 Each one deliberate. Each one closer to the stairs. My phone vibrated again in my hand. I told you. I don't like locked doors. Tears burned in my eyes, but I forced myself to think. If someone had actually broken in, I should call the police. But deep down, I knew this wasn't normal. This wasn't someone. The footsteps reached the bottom of the staircase. They stopped. Silence. Then, a single step onto the first stair. The wood groaned under the weight. Another step. Slowly climbing. I backed into my bedroom without thinking. If something was coming up the stairs, I didn't want to be standing in the hallway waiting for it. The moment I stepped inside, the bedroom door slammed shut behind me. Hard. The force shook the walls. The lock clicked. But I hadn't locked it. I spun around and grabbed the handle. It wouldn't move. It was sealed. Like the door downstairs had been. My breathing became uneven. The air inside my room felt colder by the second. My window was closed. I checked it earlier. Then I saw it. My closet door was slightly open. Just a crack. Darkness inside. I always keep it fully closed. Always. A faint scratching sound came from within. Slow. Vertical. Like fingernails dragging down wood. I whispered, "Stop." The scratching paused. My phone buzzed. Wrong door. The bedroom light turned off. Complete darkness. But I could still see the closet. Because something inside it was glowing. Not bright. Just enough to outline a shape. Tall. Too tall to fit comfortably in there. Its head tilted at an unnatural angle. It didn't move. It just stood there. Watching. I stumbled backward and hit my desk. Something fell to the floor with a crash. The glowing shape twitched. And then, it bent, folding itself, crawling out of the closet, limbs stretching too long, joints bending the wrong way. I screamed and grabbed the nearest thing I could find, a chair, and threw it toward the closet. The light vanished instantly. The room went silent. The bedroom light flickered back on. The closet door was closed. Normal. No glow. No shape. My chair lay on its side across the floor. My phone buzzed again. Now lock the right one. And the door behind me, the bedroom door, slowly began to unlock. The lock on my bedroom door turned by itself. Slowly. Soft metal sliding against metal. Click. The handle moved down. But the door didn't open. Not yet. It was like something on the other side was waiting. Waiting for me to understand. My phone vibrated in my hand. Now you know. I shook my head. Know what? I whispered, even though I didn't want an answer. The air in my room felt heavier, like pressure building before a storm. My ears popped slightly. The light above me flickered again. Then my closet door creaked open. Just a little. This time, there was no glow. Just darkness. But the darkness looked deeper than before. Like it wasn't just shadow. Like it had depth. My phone buzzed again. You locked the wrong door. My heart pounded as I realized what it meant. I had locked the front door. I had tried to keep something out. But whatever this was, it wasn't trying to get in. It was already here. And locking the door downstairs might have done something worse. The bedroom door handle suddenly stopped moving. Silence. Then I heard footsteps again. But they weren't in the hallway. They were inside my room. Behind me. I turned slowly. Nothing. Desk. Bed. Window. Closet. All normal. But I could feel it. Right behind me. Close enough that I could feel cold air against the back of my neck. My phone's screen lit up. Front camera activated. I froze. Because on the screen, I was alone in the room. But something stood directly behind me. Tall. Its head tilted sideways. Its arms hung too long, fingers nearly touching the floor. Its face. There wasn't one. Just smooth, pale skin where features should have been. And carved into that blank surface. 3 thin lines. The same marks from the front door. My breath caught in my throat. Slowly, very slowly, I began to turn around. The screen still showed it behind me. Closer now. Leaning down toward my ear. But when I fully turned, there was nothing there. The room was empty. My phone buzzed again. Don't look at me. The lights went out. Total darkness. And this time, I felt hands. Long, cold fingers gently resting on my shoulders. Not squeezing. Not hurting. Just there. Right behind me. And a whisper, right against my ear. You left the door open. The fingers on my shoulders didn't press harder. They didn't pull me back. They just rested there. Cold. Still. Waiting. I couldn't breathe. My lungs felt frozen. My entire body locked in place as the whisper repeated, softer this time. You left the door open. My bedroom door was closed. The window was shut. The closet was barely open. What door? My phone slipped from my hand and hit the floor again. The screen lit up, casting a faint glow across the room. The hands vanished instantly. I spun around. Nothing. Empty air. But the temperature in the room kept dropping. I could see my breath now. The phone screen showed another message. You invited me. I shook my head. No, I didn't. The typing bubble appeared, then disappeared, then appeared again. You stopped locking it weeks ago. A memory flashed in my mind. 3 weeks ago, I started feeling watched at night. 3 weeks ago, I began leaving my bedroom door slightly open. 3 weeks ago, I heard faint scratching in the walls, but ignored it. I thought leaving the door open made me feel safer, like I could hear if someone came in. But what if? It wasn't about someone coming in. What if something needed permission? The closet door slammed fully open, hard enough to shake the walls. Inside, the darkness looked deeper than the room itself, like a hole cut into reality. Something shifted within it. Slow. Crawling. I backed toward the window. Locked. I checked it twice. My phone buzzed violently this time. Multiple notifications in a row. I was patient. I waited. You opened the door first. The lights flickered rapidly now, strobing the room in white flashes. And in each flash, it was closer. First, just inside the closet. Then halfway out. Then standing beside my bed. Its limbs unfolding with each burst of light. Too long. Too thin. The final flash left the room in darkness again. But I could hear it moving. Not walking. Crawling. Around me. In circles. Slowly. Its breathing wasn't human. It sounded wet. Hollow. Like wind moving through an empty tunnel. My phone lit up one last time. Front camera again. I forced myself to look. It wasn't behind me anymore. It wasn't in front of me. It was above me, clinging to the ceiling. Its long fingers spread wide, digging into the plaster. Its faceless head hanging upside down, inches from mine. And on its smooth face, new words were carved. Lock me in. The bedroom door suddenly burst open. Not outward. Inward. Like something massive had kicked it from the hallway. But there was no one there. The hallway was empty. The creature dropped from the ceiling. The lights came back on. And it was gone. Completely gone. The closet was empty. The air felt normal. The temperature rising again. My phone buzzed softly. One final message. You still don't understand. Then, from downstairs, the front door slammed shut. And locked. By itself. The front door locking downstairs didn't feel like safety. It felt like a decision. Like something had just chosen to stay. I stood in the middle of my bedroom, trying to convince myself it was over. The air felt normal again. No cold breath on my neck. No scratching in the closet. No faceless thing clinging to the ceiling. Just silence. Then, a faint knock. Not from the door. From inside the wall. 3 slow taps. Right behind my bed. I froze. The same pattern as before. 3. Always 3. Another set of knocks answered it. From the opposite wall. Then another. From the ceiling. My breathing became shallow again. The sound wasn't random. It was moving. Traveling through the walls. Circling the room. Like something inside the house's bones. My phone lit up without vibrating this time. I told you. The knocking stopped. Then I heard it clearly. Not knocking anymore. Crawling. Inside the walls. Between them. Above me. Below me. Like something thin enough to fit where it shouldn't. I backed away from the bed and pressed myself against the doorframe. My mind raced. This couldn't be real. Houses don't breathe. Walls don't carry things inside them. The sound paused. Right above my head. Then, a crack split across the ceiling. Thin at first. Like a hairline fracture. Dust fell into my hair. Another crack joined it. Spreading outward. My phone buzzed again. You locked me in the wrong place. The ceiling bulged slightly. Just enough to show pressure from above. I ran. Out of my room. Down the hallway. The house lights flickered as I moved. Every step echoed too loudly. The staircase felt longer than before. As I reached the bottom, I heard something drop upstairs. Heavy. Like a body hitting the floor. But there was no scream. No impact sound after. Just silence. I turned slowly toward the front door. It was locked. The chain in place. The deadbolt turned. Secure. Then I noticed something that made my stomach drop. The scratches on the inside of the door. There were more now. Not 3 lines. Dozens. Deep. Layered over each other. As if something had been clawing from the inside. Trying to get out. My phone screen glowed again. You think I was outside? The lights in the living room shut off. Darkness swallowed everything except the faint glow of my phone. A whisper filled the space around me. Not from one direction. From everywhere. I live indoors. Every door in the house creaked at once. The bathroom. The kitchen cabinet. The closet under the stairs. Even the small attic hatch above the hallway. All of them slowly opening. One by one. Inviting something through. My phone vibrated violently. Choose one. And the attic hatch above me dropped open. The attic hatch hung open above the hallway. Darkness spilled down like smoke. Cold air followed it. Not the normal dusty attic smell. Not insulation or wood. This was different. Wet. Metallic. Alive. My phone buzzed again. Choose one. Every door in the house was open now. Kitchen cabinets wide. Bathroom door swaying slightly. Closet under the stairs cracked just enough to see blackness inside. But the attic felt like it was watching me. A thin wooden ladder slowly unfolded from the ceiling. No one touched it. It just lowered itself with a slow, creaking complaint. Each rung locking into place. Waiting. I whispered, "What happens if I don't choose?" My phone answered, "Then I will." The hallway light above me flickered once. Twice. Then went out completely. Only the darkness above remained visible. Deeper than the rest. My heart pounded so hard I felt dizzy. Every instinct told me to run outside. But the front door was locked. And somehow I knew. It wouldn't open for me. The whisper came again, closer this time. I live indoors. The closet under the stairs suddenly slammed shut. The bathroom door banged against the wall. Kitchen cabinets clapped violently like teeth snapping. All except one. The attic. Still open. Still waiting. My phone screen turned black. No battery warning. Just darkness. Then it turned back on. Front camera activated again. I held it up slowly. Behind me. All the doors in the hallway were closed. Except the attic hatch. And something long and pale was slowly lowering itself down the ladder. Limb by limb. Its joints bending wrong. Its head hanging upside down again. The carved words on its faceless skin had changed. Let me stay. I spun around. The ladder was empty. Nothing there. But I heard it now. Not in the walls. Not upstairs. Right above me. On the ceiling of the hallway. Crawling. Following. Tracking my movement. Dust fell onto my shoulders as it moved. My phone vibrated weakly in my hand. You picked. I didn't, I whispered. But the message continued. You looked. The attic ladder suddenly snapped back upward. Fast. Violent. Slamming into the ceiling and sealing shut. Every other door in the house slammed at the exact same moment. Boom. The house shook. Silence followed. Heavy. Total. I stood alone in the hallway again. Lights slowly flickering back to life. Everything normal. Every door closed. The attic hatch sealed tight. I swallowed hard. Maybe it was over. Maybe it finally chose to stay in one place. Then I noticed something that made my stomach twist. My bedroom door was open again. Just slightly. And inside the darkness of my room, I could see the closet door wide open. And something inside it. Breathing. I froze at the sight of my closet door wide open. My heart thumped violently, hammering against my chest. Every instinct screamed at me not to move, not to breathe, not to think. But my eyes were drawn to it anyway. The darkness inside wasn't normal. It didn't just swallow light, it seemed to eat it. Shadows stretched unnaturally, folding and twisting like liquid smoke. A faint scratching sound echoed from the inside. Slow. Deliberate. Like fingernails tracing patterns. On the wooden floor. My legs refused to move. My phone vibrated in my hand again. I hesitated, knowing it would show me something terrifying. But I couldn't resist. Unknown number. Message. I've waited. I whispered. I didn't mean to. My words barely left my lips before another vibration. This time it wasn't a message. It was a video. I opened it, trembling. The screen showed my bedroom from the perspective of the closet floor. The darkness inside it moved, crawling over itself. Something faceless and pale unfurled slowly, limbs bending in impossible angles. Its head tilted slightly, staring directly into the camera. I felt the weight of its gaze even through my phone screen. Suddenly, the scratching stopped. Silence. Then a slow, wet breathing echoed, too close. Not from the phone. Not from the closet. Behind me. I spun around. Empty room. The shadows in my corners stretched toward me. I glanced back at the phone. The video was still playing. And there, carved into the wooden floor of the closet in what looked like fresh scratches, were 3 words. Come closer now. I stumbled backward, tripping over the chair I had thrown before. My phone flew from my hands and skidded across the floor. The lights flickered violently. My bedroom walls seemed to pulse, breathing with the presence of something alive. Then I heard it, a slow, deliberate whisper, barely audible. You invited me in. Remember? My phone buzzed again. Text. I live where doors fail. The bedroom door rattled. Not from outside. From the inside. Like something inside it was pushing, testing. The closet door creaked. Slowly. Step by step, something moved toward the edge. I could see a long, pale hand emerge first. Fingers unnaturally long, dragging along the edge of the closet frame. Then an arm. Then another. I backed away until my shoulder hit the wall. The shadows seemed to follow my every move. The last thing I saw, before the lights flickered off, completely was the faceless head, tilting forward. The air grew colder, the breathing closer, and I knew. Whatever was inside that closet was no longer contained. Darkness swallowed the room completely. My eyes strained, trying to pierce the black, but nothing moved, except the sound. A wet, hollow breathing echoed through the walls, slow and deliberate. Not from the closet, not from the hallway. It was everywhere. It came from the ceiling, the walls, even the floor. It was inside the house itself. My phone buzzed weakly on the floor. I crawled toward it, hand shaking, picked it up, and the screen lit up. Front camera activated. I raised it slowly. The hallway was empty. All doors closed. Quiet. Too quiet. Then I noticed movement behind the closed bathroom door. A faint shadow shifted, stretched, and leaned against the wood. Not quite a person. Not quite a thing. Its form elongated unnaturally, as if made of darkness itself. A message appeared on the screen. I don't need a door anymore. I couldn't move. The hallway felt alive, vibrating subtly under my feet. The shadows seemed to pulse in rhythm with the wet breathing. Then the bedroom door rattled. Slowly. Tap, tap, tap. 3 times. My body froze. My heart raced like a drum. I wanted to scream, but my voice refused to leave my throat. The closet door swung open violently. Darkness poured out like smoke, crawling along the floor toward the hallway. My phone flickered. The shadow stretched across the hall, limbs bending wrong. Faceless head tilting as if inspecting me. Another vibration. Another message. You opened the wrong door first. I realized then. The front door had nothing to do with this. The thing wasn't waiting outside. It was never outside. It had always been inside the walls, the floors, the doors, waiting for me to give it permission. A soft, wet scrape came from upstairs. Slow, deliberate. The attic hatch creaked open. I stumbled backward. Every door in the hallway slammed shut at once. Not with wind. Not with gravity. With intention. The shadows in the hallway pulsed and moved closer, merging into something taller, darker. Then I heard it whisper, right into my mind. The doors you lock are mine. The ones you leave open are mine too. I backed against the wall. My phone buzzed one last time. Choose or be chosen. And the air around me grew heavy, almost solid, as the darkness pressed in. The hallway air felt like liquid, pressing against my chest, filling my lungs with icy heaviness. Every instinct screamed to run, but my legs wouldn't obey. The shadows had grown taller, stretching from the walls and ceiling, merging into one massive, shifting silhouette that filled the hallway. My phone buzzed violently. I barely grabbed it. Unknown number. One final message blinked. Choose. I swallowed hard. My mind raced. What choice? I had tried locking doors, leaving doors open. Nothing had worked. The faceless thing that had been living in the walls, in the closet, in the shadows. It had always been inside. And now it wanted me to decide something I didn't understand. I thought of the attic hatch. It had opened before, but I hadn't climbed it. The closet had been full of it. The doors downstairs had moved. Every door had been a test. I realized, too late, what it meant. The choice wasn't about escape. It was about invitation. I forced myself to move toward the living room, the nearest safe door I thought I could reach. Every step made the shadows sway and twist, following me, stretching impossibly long. My phone lit up again. Front camera. The screen showed the living room, empty. But the reflection in the TV's black screen told another story. Something was crouched in the corner, watching. Pale. Limbs bent wrong. Head tilted. Faceless. A whisper came from every direction at once. Pick a door, or I will pick for you. I realized I couldn't run. I couldn't hide. I had to make a choice. My fingers trembled as I reached for the front door, but the handle didn't move. Deadbolt. Chain. Locked tight. The bedroom door rattled violently. The closet door slowly creaked open. Darkness spilling outward, crawling across the floor. The attic hatch groaned above me. My eyes darted between them. The choice was clear, somehow. I had to give it one of the doors, or it would claim them all. I whispered, trembling, "Fine. Take the bedroom." Instantly, the shadows recoiled slightly, a softness filling the air. The closet door slammed shut violently. The hallway went quiet, except for that wet, hollow breathing coming from my bedroom. I backed against the wall, hands shaking, phone clutched tight. The message on the screen blinked. Smart, for now. The bedroom door handle turned slowly. It didn't open yet, but I knew what waited behind it. My heart pounded. Every instinct screamed to run, but I couldn't. And then the lights flickered violently, plunging me into darkness again. Darkness swallowed me. My eyes strained, but nothing was visible except the faint glow of my phone screen. The wet, hollow breathing continued. Louder now, closer, as if the creature had moved, into the walls themselves, and was flowing through the house. Like liquid shadow. The bedroom door creaked slowly, deliberately. Each small movement felt amplified, echoing through the hallway, shaking the floor beneath me. I could feel its presence through the wall, a heavy, suffocating weight. My body trembled uncontrollably. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Message. Your choice awaits. I swallowed hard and forced myself to move forward, toward the bedroom. Each step felt like dragging my body through thick water. Shadows stretched along the hallway walls, bending and twisting in impossible ways. Every corner seemed to pulse with life, as though the house itself had become conscious. I reached the bedroom door. My hand hovered over the handle. Cold sweat dripped down my face. I could hear the wet breathing from the other side, each exhale like ice against my skin. The door handle slowly twisted down. It was so deliberate, so patient, as if it was testing me one final time. I forced myself to look at the floor. Fresh scratches, deep and long, spread out in chaotic lines from the door toward the center of the hallway. I recognized the pattern, the same 3 lines I had seen on the front door weeks ago. It had followed me here. The phone buzzed again. Another message. Don't be afraid. I won't leave. I just want to stay. The words made no sense, but instinctively, I knew they weren't lying. I forced myself to open the door, trembling, expecting darkness, expecting claws, expecting the faceless figure. The room was dark, Empty. The bed, the desk, the closet. Normal. But the air was thick, heavy, as though something unseen occupied the space. I took a hesitant step inside, and the door slammed shut behind me. Not hard. Not violently. Just closed. And then I heard it. Soft, wet footsteps from inside the room. Slowly circling me. Watching. Waiting. My phone buzzed one last time. Welcome home. And I realized. It had claimed the bedroom. Not to harm me. Not to leave. Just to stay. The bedroom felt alive. I could feel it, the presence of something enormous and patient, moving just beyond my sight. The air was thick, heavy, as though gravity itself had increased. Every breath I took was slow, deliberate, forced. My hand shook, and my phone clutched tightly in my palm was the only anchor to reality. The wet, hollow breathing continued, surrounding me. It came from every corner at once, yet nowhere at all. I forced myself to look around. The closet door was closed. The window locked. The bed untouched. Yet I could feel its weight beside me, hovering just beyond sight. Then the whisper came, soft but insistent. Do you feel it? The doors you leave open. I shivered. I knew exactly what it meant. For weeks, I had ignored the warnings, left doors slightly ajar, and never realized that something had been watching, waiting. And now, it was here, inside the bedroom, patient, waiting. I wanted to move, to flee, but my legs refused. I could only stare at the floor, where the scratches had begun forming again. Not random, but patterns this time, lines spiraling outward, forming shapes I couldn't recognize. They looked almost alive, shifting when I blinked. Another buzz from my phone. Message. It's easier if you stop trying to control. The lights flickered violently, then went out. Total darkness swallowed the room. I could hear my own heartbeat pounding in my ears. But over it, there was the soft, wet shuffle of something moving closer. A long, cold finger brushed against my shoulder. Not pressing, just touching. I could feel the temperature drop where it made contact. My phone slipped from my grip, landing on the floor screen up. The front camera activated automatically. I forced myself to look. Nothing. Empty room. Yet the screen reflected a shadow stretching along the wall. Impossibly long, bending at angles that shouldn't exist. The whisper came again, this time right in my ear. The air you breathe is mine now. I froze. The presence circled me slowly. I realized then, this thing didn't need doors anymore. It didn't need to crawl out of the closet or the attic. It was in the house, in the walls, in the air, and now, in the room with me, invisible yet undeniable. I sank to the floor, trembling. My phone buzzed one last time. Welcome to where doors fail. Forever. Sitting on the cold floor, I could feel it all around me. The walls weren't just walls anymore. They were alive, breathing, shifting, whispering. I could hear faint sounds coming from behind the plaster. Scratches, soft taps, low hisses, so many voices overlapping that I couldn't distinguish them. I pressed my ear to the wall. At first, nothing made sense, just static-like murmurs. Then one phrase became clear, repeated over and over. Open the door. Open the door. But all the doors were closed. Every single one. The front door. The bedroom door. The closet. Even the attic hatch overhead. Locked. Secured. Yet somehow, it didn't matter. The whispers came from everywhere at once. The walls were taunting me, forcing me to understand that locking a door didn't stop it. My phone buzzed violently again. Message. You cannot hide where doors fail. The air grew colder. My breath condensed in front of me like fog. Shadows stretched along the walls, writhing like living smoke. Every corner seemed to bulge unnaturally, as if the room itself had become fluid. Then I heard a different sound. Not from the walls. Not from the closet. Not from the ceiling. Right behind me. Slow, wet steps, circling me. I dared not turn. My body refused to move. A whisper brushed past my ear. I see you. The walls began to shake slightly. Not violently, just enough to make the floorboards hum. The scratches on the floor beneath me grew deeper, forming shapes I couldn't comprehend. Lines, circles, spirals, all moving as if alive. The closet door opened slowly again. Darkness poured out, flowing along the floor like black water. It stretched toward me, and I could feel it. Cold, heavy, pressing against my legs. The phone buzzed one last time. Do not resist. Doors are mine. And so are you. I wanted to scream, but my voice caught in my throat. The shadows advanced, circling me, moving in perfect synchronization with the whispers. Then everything went silent, except for one sound, a low, wet breathing directly above me. The attic hatch had opened on its own. I stared at the attic hatch above me, the old wood creaking faintly as it swayed. The light from my phone barely illuminated the hallway, but I could feel it, something heavy, patient, waiting up there. The wet breathing I had been hearing all along now seemed louder, closer, like it had shifted entirely to the ceiling above. My phone vibrated again. Another message. I grow where doors fail. I swallowed hard. The attic wasn't just a room anymore. It was alive. Shadows seeped from the opening like thick smoke, curling down the ladder and spilling across the hallway floor. They pulsed with an unnatural rhythm, matching the wet breathing. I could feel the weight of it pressing down. My legs shook as if gravity had doubled. I wanted to run, to escape, but every instinct froze me in place. Slowly, the ladder unfolded from the hatch. Not dropped, not thrown. Lowered, deliberately, rung by rung. I realized then, it wasn't waiting for me to climb. It was waiting for me to look. The shadows began crawling along the floor toward the walls, twisting upward in impossibly long limbs. They stretched and bent, forming a single towering shape under the hatch. Pale, faceless. Its limbs too long to belong to anything human. Its head tilted at an impossible angle, as if studying me. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. Front camera activated automatically. The screen showed my bedroom, empty. But I could see a shadow climbing the ladder. Faceless head bending unnaturally. Arms stretching wide to touch the ceiling. The whisper came, louder than before, filling the hallway. Do you understand yet? Doors belong to me. Walls belong to me. Air belongs to me. I tried to back away. My shoulder hit the wall. My breathing echoed in my ears. The attic ladder quivered, as if impatient. I could hear its wet nails scraping against the wood. Another message appeared. I don't need doors anymore. I need the house. The shadows swelled, filling the hallway, reaching for the walls, the floor, the ceiling. I knew, deep down, that climbing the ladder was no choice. It was inevitable. And yet, the thought of looking up terrified me. I took a step forward. My hands trembled as I reached for the first rung of the attic ladder. The wood felt cold, damp, almost sticky beneath my fingers, like it had absorbed something unnatural. Each step upward echoed unnaturally, hollow and stretched, as though the house itself was amplifying every sound to torment me. The shadows followed. They clung to the walls, to the ceiling, to the floor, twisting and bending in ways that made no sense. The pale, faceless figure emerged slowly from the darkness above, its limbs stretching impossibly long. Its head tilted at that impossible angle again. Eyes, or the lack of them, focused on me. My phone buzzed violently in my pocket. I pulled it out. Front camera activated. The screen showed the hallway far below. All doors were closed, all lights flickering. But the shadow in the attic had multiplied, splitting into tendrils of darkness that slithered along the ladder rungs, reaching toward me. Higher, the phone displayed. I forced myself to climb. Step by step, the shadows slid closer. I could feel the temperature drop. My breath came in puffs, fogging the phone screen. Each movement felt like swimming through icy tar. Then I heard whispers. Not just one, but hundreds. Layered over each other. Coming from the walls, the ceiling, even the ladder itself. You left doors open. You invited me in. I grow where doors fail. You belong to me. The air thickened. Every rung felt heavier, almost pulling me downward. Yet the faceless figure seemed to stretch upward. Leaning toward me, reaching for me with elongated fingers. I reached the top. The hatch's opening loomed above me, blacker than night, yet almost liquid, pulsing slowly as if alive. My hand trembled as I reached for it. The wet breathing was deafening now, filling the attic like a tide. A final message appeared on my phone. Step inside, or be swallowed here forever. I hesitated. My heart pounded like a drum. The shadows stretched fully up into the hatch, forming a wall of darkness that seemed to pull at the edges of reality itself. I knew I had no choice. I pushed the hatch open. I climbed through the hatch, my body trembling with fear. The attic was different. Not dusty, not abandoned. The air was thick, heavy, and smelled of metal and wet earth. Shadows pulled in every corner, stretching along the rafters, crawling along the floor. The pale, faceless figure was there, tall, impossibly thin, limbs bent at unnatural angles, head tilting down at me. The ladder I had climbed vanished the moment my feet touched the floor. I stumbled backward. Nothing. Only darkness, but alive. Moving. Watching. My phone buzzed. Front camera. The screen showed the hallway far below. Every door in the house was closed. Every light flickering weakly. But the shadow in the attic had multiplied. Tendrils of darkness slithered across the walls, ceiling, and floor. A whisper echoed all around me. You brought me here. Now it is mine. I realized then that the attic wasn't a room. It was a living space, a manifestation of the entity itself. The walls pulsed with every breath it took. The floor quivered under my weight, and the ceiling seemed impossibly high, stretching into endless darkness. I turned, and the faceless figure moved closer, its limbs bent in ways no human could manage, sliding over beams and rafters like liquid. My heart pounded. I could feel the cold from its body even though I hadn't touched it. Another buzz from my phone. Unknown number. Message. The doors were a test. You failed. Now you are mine. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. The entity reached toward me with those impossibly long fingers. They brushed my shoulder, not hard, not violent, but cold enough to burn my skin. The shadows in the attic swirled faster, tightening around me. I was trapped. Every exit disappeared into blackness. Only one thing remained, the faceless figure, watching, patient, and waiting. Then it whispered, directly into my mind. You will never leave. The attic chooses its own. The attic felt alive. Every creak of the beams, every rustle of the floorboards, every whisper of air carried a presence I couldn't ignore. I was no longer just in a room. I was inside something sentient, something patient, something that had waited for me for weeks, months, maybe longer. The faceless figure hovered closer. Its elongated limbs bent and twisted as it moved along the rafters. Its head tilted at an impossible angle, staring at me, or through me. I could feel its attention, cold and heavy, pressing down on my chest. My phone buzzed again. Message. You can't escape what lives indoors. I backed toward the far corner of the attic, fumbling for anything to defend myself. The shadows slithered along the floor, pooling around my feet like black water. The entity's limbs reached down, fingers stretching impossibly long. Every step it took seemed to bend reality. Shadows clinging to the beams and walls, swallowing light. Then I heard whispers, hundreds of voices layered over each other, all coming from the attic itself. Leave a door open. Leave a door closed. It doesn't matter. You invited me in. Now it stays. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My phone slipped from my trembling hands, landing screen up. The front camera activated automatically. I dared to look. On the screen, I saw myself, but not exactly me. Shadows clung to my body, stretching from my back and merging with the darkness around me. My reflection, or the thing pretending to be me, mimicked every movement, twisting unnaturally. The entity's whisper filled my mind, louder now. I am in the walls. I am in the air. I am in the doors you fail to lock. You cannot leave. You belong here. The shadows surged. They rose along the walls, the ceiling, the floor, pressing in from all directions. I realized then that escape wasn't an option. There were no exits, no ladder, no windows, no doors, only darkness, and the faceless presence. The darkness of the attic pressed down on me like a physical weight. My heart raced, but I no longer had hope of escape. Every corner, every beam, every shadow was alive, shifting, pulsating. The faceless figure loomed over me. Impossibly tall, limbs bent at wrong angles, head tilted inhumanly. Its presence filled the room, and my mind. The whispers returned, louder than ever. All around me, inside me, echoing in my bones. Doors fail. Walls bend. Air is mine. You cannot leave. You belong here. I sank to the floor, trembling. My phone lay beside me, screen glowing faintly. Another message appeared. You thought locking doors could stop me. You were wrong. I understood. It had never been about the doors. It had never been outside. From the moment I left doors unlocked, it had been inside, patient, waiting. Testing me, watching, living in every corner of the house, in every breath, in every shadow. The faceless figure lowered itself, its head level with mine. I could feel its presence inside me, breathing, moving, studying. The shadows around it twisted and stretched into impossible shapes, connecting floor, ceiling, walls, and me. The wet, hollow breathing grew louder, vibrating through the floorboards, shaking the walls, resonating in my chest. You belong here. You invited me. You are home. I closed my eyes, realizing it was true. The entity wasn't going anywhere. The attic, the house, the walls, they were all alive now. And I was part of it. The faceless figure reached out, brushing the air near me, not violently, but claiming. I tried to stand. My legs refused. My phone slipped from my hands. I could only feel the shadows wrapping closer, pulling me into them. Then the whispers fell silent. Total, suffocating silence. Only the faint echo of my own breathing remained. I opened my eyes. The attic seemed endless now, stretching beyond reason. The faceless figure hovered, waiting. The shadows coiled around me. And I understood completely. There was no escape. No door. No ladder. No window. Just the house. And me. Forever. The phone buzzed one final time, screen glowing softly. Doors fail. Walls bend. Air is mine. Welcome home. Forever. And with that, the darkness swallowed me completely.